On today's episode of Racist Idiot, this dude gives me the finger, a hairdresser puts me in my place,
the Miatas are out here tearing it up,
and I learn how to shave.
I shaved 6.5 seconds off my first track day.
All of this and then some on today's episode of Racist Idiot.
Who is this racist idiot?
Yo dudes, welcome back to another wicked awesome episode of Racist Idiot. If racing is in your heart, racing is in your soul, and racing is your religion, that's racism. So smack that subscribe button. We're gonna get into all sorts of racist shenanigans around here. And today we're gonna be heading off to the SUCA circuit, formerly known as the Sandia Speedway. 1.7 miles and 14 turns, and zero idea what I'm doing as I take my O2 Corvette Z06 out there and put it all on the line for the Super Lap time trial event. There's gonna be a lot of learning curve in the process because I make all sorts of mistakes along the way, and it's really fun. And we're gonna pick apart everything that I do that we get a hold of right there in the comment section so we can forge me into the best racist that I can possibly be. And we're gonna give away a Mark IV Supra in the process. You don't wanna miss a single second of it. The Idiot's Guide to Racism, Road Racing Edition, episode 2 is going down right meow.
All right, today is shaping up to be a really fun day. I am following this Lotus over here to the SUCA circuit for my first road racing time trial event. And I'm super stoked about that. I'm a little bummed about my cracked windshield. I'll get over that. Here we are, showing up at the facility, turning in here for my very first road racing time trial event. They call it Super Lap. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I am ready to find the F out. I bet this at least is gonna be like a full class or two lower than me because I'm stuck in the highest class because of my factory power to weight ratio. So yeah, if I can put up a time anywhere remotely close to this guy, I think I'll be doing okay. I don't really have a whole lot of expectations of being super competitive today because again, I'm a first timer and my car is in the highest class that they have. So I'm gonna be pitted against some pretty nasty stuff, I'm sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and get up in here. I have not done the best job of documenting my track experience so far this morning. I'm getting ready to line up on the grid right now. I pretty much spent my morning getting the car dialed in, adding a little bit of oil, reducing some tire pressure, everything like that. And yeah, getting ready to line up over here with A group where I'm probably gonna get slap knocked because yeah, my car is in the highest class, but probably barely belongs there if at all. Let's get over here and get to work. Up, ready to hit the grid. As soon as I get there, we're gonna go ahead, flip on the other cameras, get some proper video of my first ever hot laps out here in the vet. Pretty excited. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start. Again, my expectations for performance aren't super high. Like, I can tell that there's a lot of vehicles here, like either one of these Subarus, who are typically my mortal nemesis. They're probably way better track prep cars than me. Like this guy on these Toyota 888s, yeah, he has grip. I have all seasons, so we'll see how this is going to go. But I'm excited no matter what. I'm here to really just race against myself and put out the best times that I can because this is a time trial. This is about competing against what you're able to do for yourself. And obviously you're comparing your times against others, but really what you want to show in any event like this is personal development. And that's what I'm after today, is tons and tons of personal development.
So here we are on the very second lap ever of the SUCA circuit. You do a warm-up lap first in the session. You get 3 hot laps, which is the very first one there. And then you're gonna go ahead and get your cool down lap where you wanna let the vehicle cool down. Your oil temps are gonna be scorching, so is the coolant and your brakes as well. This is the very first hot lap, and I'm instructed to follow this Camaro around here because the SUCA circuit, if you don't know what you're doing, is actually kind of confusing. There's the oval there in the center, and it intersects both of the straightaways. And if you don't pay attention to it, you can actually make a turn in the wrong place. You got to index the cone as you dive into that corner at the end of the second straightaway. Really fun getting into it. I was instructed in the driver's meeting of a lot of things. One was this was not a test and tune. This was Super Lap, so don't hold back. And it was kind of crazy. It was like, hey dude, just go out here and haul some ass, man. You don't really know what you're doing, but don't hold back. Just go out there and do it. It was just like, you know, if you were to hand somebody that had handled a gun before and fired it a bunch of times and just told them, hey dude, go gunfight. This is what you're gonna do right now. It's kind of like that. And I wasn't too mad at it. You know, there was a learning curve for sure. And I would soon be waved with the blue and yellow flags. We talked about in the driver's meeting. This meant that you were instructed to pass, you only get this on the straightaways. Now, again, I was very specifically instructed not to pass the Camaro until I completed my first hot lap, and this created a little bit of a traffic jam. That Z that we were looking at when I was lining up there on the grid, well, turns out was a lot faster than both the Chevrolets that was holding up the lunch line there, and ended up chasing me down for the duration of my very first hot lap, which is about to start right this second. And I haven't even watched the whole thing yet, so let's go ahead and pick this apart together. All right, so we are heading through the second to last corner. We are about to get pointed by. This is where he gives me the finger. This is where they said, time to pass him after that first hot lap. Get on by, hit that straightaway. Here we go. Now this is that first effect of coming over the oval. It's like a little hill. You have no idea really brakes, so I brake a bit early. Don't even bother going all the way to the outside. Might as well not even try. Or the inside here, for that matter. The outside there. In the first little link section here. Yeah, just riding the inside the whole way through. That's not very efficient. This area, you can get really, really faster here. Too bad. And then that first hairpin. Tires barking a bit. There it goes. Into the outside. Didn't even bother apexing there. And over that second real oval bump you go over there. You got to brake, index that cone. The second hairpin, almost apex that. You can really pick up quite a bit of speed through here. I'm being pretty shy. Kind of getting into it. Tires are barking a bit. Sketchy coming through here. You got the wall, and you come over the hump. And it doesn't seem like much, but yeah, you see that right there. That's kind of a bit sketchier than it looks. And that lap netted me a 144.5. Now this next lap that I'm heading into would go ahead and net me a better time there. I trimmed that down to a 140, correction, that was a 146.5. Now I trim that down to a 146.4.
First hot laps ever in at the Suka circuit, 146.444. So I know there's Miatas out there running way faster than that, but hey, for my first 3 hot laps out there, one of which was following a pretty slow Camaro that just was not really road coursing it the way that he could. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Had an amazing time already. This is where it's at right here. I am loving every single bit of this.
Now, when I was waiting for grid for session 2, that's when this craziness went down.
We have our first accident of the super lap day. This 350Z basically had a wheel blow up, completely come off, and that thing is now wheels up. The driver crawled out of it every bit of okay, and we're glad to hear that, but crazy to see that just here on my first track day, we already got a car wheels up to the sky just a couple hours in.
Definitely hard to see on the video, but there is a red Nissan Z up there, wheels up to the sky, at least 3 out of 4. One of them fell off because of some improper lug nuts, shit off the wheel. He rolled because of it, crawled out. Dude was fine, but shook up. I didn't end up interacting with the guy. And it was right about that time that I'm ending it. You can hear somebody cutting me off as I'm recording, telling me it wasn't cool what I was doing. And mixed feelings on this. He was saying that if you had this happen to you, you wouldn't want your moment of trauma made infamous and posted up for everybody to see. I'm posting up anything that happens to me in my process of racing to the best of my ability. Like, unless I die, it's getting posted. Embarrassing, horrible, that's the case. I'm not saying this is a grandstand, and I know it's really easy to say that when nothing's happened to you yet, but one of the biggest purposes of this channel is education. He's like, this isn't your clickbait reel, stuff like that, but that's not what I'm after. None of this is about clickbait. This is about education. So, I ended up talking with the track manager, Eric, later on about it. He said it was cool to use the footage. I'm not here to disrespect anybody or do anything. The gentleman that I talked to ended up being pretty chill about it overall, but I did have to make sure that I was cleared to use the footage, and end up that I was. So at that point, they called for a track intermission. There was a pretty significant amount of time to get the Z off of the track. So we went ahead, took a walk around, checked out some cars for a while.
Just gonna take a quick minute to do a walk around of some of the cars around here. So we got the newer Miata here. This thing's all orange. This guy's got his car dressed to match. I will never not like a Z Roadster, man. Those things are always sweet. Scott is the gentleman who was running this Subaru. He was running right behind me. We're putting down pretty comparable lap times. He was behind me when I went off earlier. I'm really, really irritated that I didn't get anything on camera when I went off. Yeah, lots of fast looking cars here. This gentleman here has got himself a 1LE Camaro. That thing is ripping pretty good. Bet that thing's probably 600 plus horsepower. Pretty nasty stuff over here. I haven't really seen a whole lot of this stuff run, but I know most cars out here are running faster than I am. I am not on the right tires for this, and I am a absolute rookie. So yeah, really cool stuff out here. Lots of the Z's. Really, really love this Z31. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Never not gonna love Z cars, man. They're always it. This Honda, I bet this thing just absolutely just trounces the best lap time I'm gonna ever put down. Like, look at that thing, just aerodynamic monstrosity. Vents everywhere, staying cool, like absolutely beautiful. Love the fenders and their little ducts. S2000, yeah, that thing's sweet. Looks like his vents are actually 3D printed. I wonder if he made those at home. It's cool. I love seeing the homemade stuff. This gentleman over here in the fixed roof coupe is running a solid, 16 seconds faster than me, Dylan, in here is, man. So some pretty sweet rides out here. The Miatas are out here tearing it up. Like, if I can get into the Miata tax bracket of times, I'll be feeling pretty good about myself. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm gonna be striving for it. The gentleman who was at the tech debrief there, he was saying probably my best bet that I'm gonna have, or best time I'm gonna see out here will be like a 143, and then I'm on pace for it. So, gonna get the car back dialed in and get ready to do another session. Holy crap, look at this little Porsche 914. Now this thing is just cool. This guy has basically eliminated everything that does not matter to going fast at all. I mean, down to absolutely nothing. Got an engine, a couple of intake ducts, a seat, a battery, and a detachable steering wheel. Roll bar to make sure you don't end up in the wrong way when you're upside down, and a big old rear view mirror. This thing is just freaking cool. I bet that thing's a blast to put around the track.
It was at this point that I basically completely failed as a racist, a videographer, and maybe even as a human being in general. You hear me talk about this in the beginning of the walkthrough video. I went off track. I was coming out of turn one a little bit too hot there. Fishtailed once, fishtailed twice, fishtailed the third time. I knew I was going off, and I'm like, and we're off, ice cold as I launched into the dirt. And I want to say that I did a full rotation and a half, but honestly it was probably half a rotation because I ended up teed to the road. At that point, took a couple of cranks to get the vet fired back up, got on track, and lost a full minute off of my lap time at that point, which is pretty lame. But we got a 144.364 off of that session there, which was the first lap time. My second one was almost a full second slower, and the one after that was a minute slower because I went off the track. Now, the gentleman, Scott, that I referenced in the walkthrough video, really chill dude. We had a really friendly competition, and I was a little tiny bit, I want to say maybe like a few tenths of a second ahead of him at this point. Super fun time, and we're going to be watching the rest of some session 3 footage here, which unfortunately also isn't super usable because of the fact that I had to be a complete knucklehead and play my car stereo too loud. I'm a major car audio enthusiast. My Svet has a huge system in it, and my subwoofer is playing so loud that all the audio sounds like, which is pretty lame. I can't do that to you guys. So we'll go ahead, talk a little bit about session 3 while we're at it. Overall, felt a lot more comfortable behind the wheel, but still super rough stuff. Let's go ahead and check in at the end of the results and see what we had going on over there at Pit and Grid.
Let's see what the times are. I felt like my fastest go yet. Yo, dude.
Huh?
Said, yo, dude.
Yeah. Next driver's gonna be Curtis Line with a transponder.
Curtis got a 143.068.
See, that was at least. Wait, that's a 143, not a 140. I dropped over a second.
Yeah.
Yeah! Oh!
Fast car. I told you you're gonna be at 143 before the end of the day, for sure. You might get it 142.
Yeah, that's my new target. Hell yeah, dude.
All right, man.
Yeah! Oh, God. Ain't nothing better than dropping a second, except for dropping more than 1 second at a time. But, you know, increments. My car is mad. Look at that coolant temp. She's like, bro, chillaxificate. I love being a racist.
Overall, I can't help but be happy with the results with session 3. All 3 of my laps fell within the 1 minute 43 second range. The first lap, 143.5. Second lap, a little bit slower, 143.8. But then held it down tight at 143.06. So we're almost in the 142 range and a full second faster than we were in the second session there. And didn't go off track again, which is pretty good. You know, we're screwing up less. The one thing I really messed up on that one was the videography. Gotta live and learn and do better, and that's what we're gonna do here on the next lap. I actually feel that I didn't completely botch the videography on that, so why don't we just go ahead and enjoy my best lap of the third session before we go ahead, jump into the comments, and start picking apart my first track day. It's gonna be a wicked awesome one. Don't miss a second.
All right, let's see if he beat a 143. All right.
All right, let's see it. Next driver is going to be
Curtis Maxwell Lyon.
Curtis Line. He has a transponder. Let's go. Let's see what it is.
Curtis got a 140.384.
440?
Yeah, 40.
Yeah! Did I save 3 fucking seconds? Yeah! Fuck yeah! Yeah! I saved 6.5 seconds off my first track day. That's what I'm talking about, baby. We're almost in the freaking 30s. Yeah! Ow! I did a 140.
Nice.
Yeah, I shaved 6 seconds today.
Good job.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah! That little chick over there, she fast as heck. I need to take some more advice from her. All right, back to the pit stall. Final runs of the day. Shaved 6 seconds off. The other one, 4. I shaved 3 seconds off my last set. 3 fucking seconds. Motherfucker. God, I'm bad. So fucking bad. So this Miata in me, driven by, God, I can't get his name right. Cericio, I want to say, but I'm probably butchering it. This was the fastest guy of the day on the track. Did a 126. So this Miata is 14 seconds faster around the Super Circuit than me. So I have a lot of stepping up to do. I'm not saying I'm going to be chasing this dude's shoes anytime soon. But I'm just saying this dude's a badass and makes me want to step up my game.
Yo, dudes, that was one heck of a ride, wasn't it? I gotta say, I think I done scientifically proved that listening to Freebird is gonna shave a minimum of 2 seconds off your lap time, but 3 if you're listening to the solo. This is just now a scientific proven fact documented here on Racist Idiot. You saw it first on the Idiot's Guide to Racism. And I gotta say, I'm just overall very happy with the results and really stoked with a lot of the people that I met. First off, Scott, my WRX racist brother, man. Normally the WRXs are my arch nemesis on the street, always in the way, stopping on the road for no reason whatsoever. I've documented proof of this so many times over. But on the track, dude, you were a beast, man. You were slightly behind me for most of the day, and then you finished like a second ahead of me. So dude, right on, man. It was an awesome time. Mike and Maria, the Mini Cooper people, encouraging me, pushing me on. Really appreciate you guys, for sure. Maria, link up with me. I do need to still talk to you about your car stereo. Who else? We got Dylan. Dude, C5 brother, man. Smoking me by 12 seconds in the category underneath me. Nothing short of impressive, man. Like, definitely setting the bar for what I hope to do for myself. Serenio, dude, fastest dude of the day. 15 seconds faster than me in the Miata. People sleep on the Miatas, call them hairdresser cars. Dude smoke checked me into absolute nothingness, man. Like, I had no chance whatsoever. Rowdy, pit and grid dude. Wicked awesome guy, pushing me along, you know. Best of the time that he thought I was going to see out there by 3 seconds. Super stoked to have done it. Dude, thanks for your encouragement. Eric, track manager. Great to be out there. Dude, look forward to doing a whole bunch of more stuff out there at the Suka Circuit. Been an awesome facility to work at. I'm really, really happy being out there for sure. Let's go ahead and move into some comments. Lots of fun stuff that we'll talk about today. Jacob Price 7452 here on YouTube says, "You're actually play Freebird? Hell yeah, brother." Yes, hell yeah, brother is correct. Freebird was just the song for the moment. It may be a little bit played out in this day and age, as Lechuga John says, "Use a good song. That S is overrated." Dude, if you don't like Freebird, like, get out of America. I've literally used that exact line to talk my way out of a noise ordinance with a reversed version of Freebird. So, like, dude, sucks to suck, bro. I don't know what to tell you, man. And then we got numerous people. Chris saying, "Bro, how on earth you keep the cup in the cup holder? It would take the gravity of a black hole to hold everything in there." It actually takes a simple rubber cup holder adapter and the right size of tumbler. Just a little bit of physics, man. It's nothing too crazy. I'll probably show you guys how this goes along. But yeah, 9 different mentions of back the cup holder. The fact that the tumbler stayed in there blows my mind. The fact that you're ripping around the track of it is impressive, but it's more impressive that thing doesn't come throwing out. Yeah, it works pretty well, man. I took that thing on a 9,000-mile road trip before I took it to the track. Now, some other people say that in conjunction with my charging cable is a safety hazard. I agree. Said it shouldn't pass tech inspection. I don't disagree. Wasn't in there when I went to tech inspection. That's a fact. Reason why it wasn't in there is I had to put the water in my car when I was sitting at grid for, like, I want to say around 30 minutes or so after that Nissan rolled. So I kind of had to go ahead and do what I had to do, bring some water on board. I trusted the cup holder. It was on board when I ran off of track 2, stayed in the cup holder. That thing's verified and good to go. I think I'll probably do a little tutorial on how well that thing works. Now, serious comments. Hand positioning. I don't know what to do with my hands. 6 different mentions of where to keep my hands on the steering wheel. Absolutely correct. I got them all over the place doing nothing correct whatsoever. I might as well be over there on the track getting bit in the elbow by Baby Tiger like I am right here as I'm trying to narrate this. Like, really, really bad hand placement. I'm driving with one hand a whole bunch of the time. And the reason for that being is, again, don't know what to do with my hands. I'm hovering on that shifter, like perpetually waiting for a second or third upshift that just never happens because I'm not in the flow with the track and really understanding when I need to shift, where, how, and all of that stuff. So I'm kind of just messing that up, I'm not gonna lie. And that's part of the learning curve. And that's why I wanna open up the comments. The way that the comments are gonna go is I'm gonna post up some shorts when we have an upcoming episode dropped. I dropped this one forever ago. And when I have more episodes coming, I'll just drop a few little shorts off of that guy. You guys can tell me everything that I'm doing right in the comments, what I'm doing wrong in the comments. We'll have a little chit chat about it at the end of every episode. If that's the way that things are gonna work out, that's the way I'd like to see it go. Have a little morning coffee together, nothing wrong with that. That said, let's go ahead and talk about the Mark IV Supra giveaway. If you thought that I was like Mr. Richie Pants, dude, the Supra is more than I can afford, pal. What I got for you guys is this beautiful Mark IV model Supra 1/24th scale as driven by Brian O'Connor in the original Fast and Furious movie. Absolute figment of beauty. If you didn't grow up loving this car, you may be a different generation of car guy than I am, but pretty much all of us millennials, dude, you had some character pass to go with, and this was a part of everyone. So absolutely amazing vehicle. And everybody that's been tuning in, thank you guys so much. There's gonna be a heck of a lot more going on. There was some battle damage sustained there at the track, but hey, that's for another episode that we got going on. And if you haven't checked out the previous Racist Idiot episode, there's only been one so far previous to this, go over there and check that thing out too. I'm really working my butt off, including taking digital media production classes to bring you guys the best content that I can. I love all of my loyal followers, and I want to make sure that everything stays wicked awesome for you guys. This is Maxwell. I am checking out. Brothers and sisters, horse power.
Damn, bro, that was racist.